Hi guys, welcome to another Oakleypaws video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make chests that refill themselves, but it's also random and you could use this for like Hunger Games maps. So as you can see, there's just some random stuff in these chests. But when I press this button to refill them and randomize them, you'll see that they're actually different. And you can keep doing this as much as you want. As you can see, some of them are different every time. The reason there's not much differences is because there's only 5 possibilities, because I've only made these 5 for the chest to have a possible outcome. Now these are the 5 that I've chosen and made, but you can do this with anything. You can do this with droppers, dispensers, barrels, trap chests, not ender chests. Okay, now let's get into the commands that I'm using. Now for this first command, you'll notice I'm actually doing a teleport command of the entity that's an armor stand with the name selector to 272x, 4y, and 147z. Now this is the armor stand I'm talking about with the name selector, and it's going to these cords right here where this chest is located. One cool thing about chests is they aren't a full block, so it's actually the cords you see here are the exact cords. If I jump up, you can see I'm actually going up 2 cords. Now for the second command in this chain is executing at a random armor stand with the name of random chest at its current location. It's going to set up block 2 blocks below it, a redstone block. And what I mean by this is I have a ton of armor stands here with the name random chest. And so basically it's going to put a redstone block in these little gaps under the armor stands. So when this command block gets powered, I'm setting an air block 1 value z of its current location. You don't have to use relative commands though, you could just put it to this area right under there where the redstone block's going to be. Now what this command block's basically doing at the location of the armor stand named selector at its current location, it's going to clone the location of this chest next to it, which are those cords that I have right there are the chest next to its location, to the current location of the armor stand. So as you can see, the cords of this chest here are the same as in the command block. So let's say it selects this one out of the 5, then it's basically just going to put a chest with those exact stuff that the chest right here has. The only difference is, at this point in time, the armor stand would actually be at the first chest location that we reviewed earlier. Now if you remember, there's 3 chests at the start, so all that is after here is just me repeating the same thing 2 more times for the other 2 chests. As you'll see, the only difference here is that I have different cords because the second chest is in a different location. I would also recommend for these TP commands to put them at 5 ticks after the first one. You could go quicker, but I'd like to be safe and just to make sure that the other part will work when it's selecting a random one to go at the armor stand's location. Now this is optional, but you could switch this to conditional and then you could do a check to make sure it worked. So yeah, as you can see, these cords right here actually go to the location of the second chest that we reviewed in the middle. And so what it's doing after the selector selects the first chest and then it gets a random outcome, it's going to move to the second chest and then you can repeat the cycle to the second chest and then move it to the third chest to repeat the cycle again. As you can see, this fourth command block is identical to the second one because it's doing the exact same thing as the second one. Here, I'll do a fade transition so you can see if there's any differences between the commands. As I said, there's no difference in the commands, they can be identical. And then this command block is going to be the same as like the first and the third. The only difference is the cords now are to the third chest. As you can see, the cords are the same as in the command block. As you can see, the 6th command block is the same as the second and the 4th one. It's just that now it's selecting a random one for the third chest. So you can use the identical command again, just a third time. What this last command is doing is just teleporting the armor stand named selector back to its starting location so you don't accidentally break it if you're playing like a game or something. Of course, you don't have to use the chests that I'm using. These are just an example. You can put whatever you want in them. Now let's say there's some better chests than others and you want to make the lower ones more common. All All you have to do is add more armor stands to the ones you want to be more common. So let's say I want this first one to be more common. I'm just adding another armor stand that's named. So as you can see, I'm naming this also random chest. And then I just break the block, and now instead of this being a 1 in 5 chance of happening, it's a 2 in 6 chance, making it 1/3. And let's say you also want there to be a chance of no chest spawning so that people don't go to the same area every time. You can just remove the chest on one of them. Now when I press the button, you might see a slight difference. Okay, we just got a little unlucky on this one, but we'll just run it again. Okay, what is my luck? There's a 50% chance of one of these happening, and you times that by 3. That's like an 87% chance of that happening, and it didn't work twice. At least this time it worked. Again, let's say you want to make it even more common for this first one. You just keep adding more and more armor stands until you're satisfied with the percentage or the result. So I'm going to add 4 more armor stands so you can see the huge difference when you add more and more. Okay, now let's see the results. Now as you can see, out of these 3 chests, they all got the first one. And then if I run it again, 2 out of the 3 of them got the first one, and then the other one got the no chest. Again, pretty similar result, except we also got a different one in there. Now let's say you design a map that can be destroyed, or it just is griefable. So let's say someone just blew up the chest. Now I'm going to add the armor stands back. Of course, you'd want to put these commands far away from the actual area so that they don't get destroyed. I'm also going to have to add back the selector, which is a key component for this whole thing to work. Now you can see with how it's set up right now, when I press the button, the chest will actually float in the air, even though there's nothing under them. As you see, you can keep doing this and they'll just keep floating in the air. Now the armor stand's not actually there, it's just bugged out a little bit. Now let's say instead of them actually floating in the air, you want them to actually fall down with gravity to stay on the surface. Then all you have to do is go to the execute commands and put a delay in ticks. I'm just going to put 10 because it's not going to be that deep. As you can see, I'm only going to do this to the first and second ones, even though it doesn't affect the first one. So if you wanted, you could have it where only some chests get affected by gravity. As you can see, the chest is actually down 2 blocks. It didn't actually replace the one up there. That was just there from before. But if we run it again, you'll see it's going to have similar results. Because the second one has a delay in ticks, it actually falls down. But since the third one doesn't, it stays floating in the air. Just be cautious. The more you do this, the longer it's going to take to run through these command blocks. Now, as you can see, I'm just going to add the delay in ticks to the third one too, and it's going to fall down like the second one. Now that floating chest was just there from before, you can actually just remove that. It didn't actually get copied or anything. But as you can see, the chests are random. It's just that gravity affects them now. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry I didn't post last week, it was the end of school, and also I got sidetracked. No correlation or anything, but I'm now ranked 547th in the world at tic-tac-toe. I definitely didn't do that instead of making a video. Also, Dwem won't 1v1 me, so that kinda sucks. I still haven't got a reply from Dwem. Also, not to mention 1.17's out now, and this does work in both of them, 1.16 and 1.17. Sorry, I was a little distracted by exploring 1.17. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If this helped, please leave a like, that would be much appreciated. If you're a little confused why I was talking about Dwem, you can just click on the video on the left, and in the comments section below you'll see what I mean. On the right is a video that YouTube recommends for you also, and have a great rest of your day.